Hi, I'm Michael Burke, and this is Money Talks. Hi, today's show is brought to you by Total Furniture, your friends in the furniture business, where you save 20 to 50% off on name brands. Open 4 to save you more at 8400 75th Street in Kenosha, open Friday through Monday. Today I'm with Jerry Bloom, owner of Treasures Media, and we're out on Chicory Road where we're doing this show. But we're not here to talk exactly about Treasures Media today. We're here to talk about BroadStreet Publishing Group, which you helped co-found last year, that is in 2014. And it is doing some amazing things already. So welcome to the show, Jerry.
Thanks, Mike.
BroadStreet, the category is Christian and inspirational books, correct?
Yes.
I know you have partners in this, and in as kind of concise a way as possible, who are your partners that came together, and then what do each of you bring to the party?
Sure. BroadStreet was birthed 2014 through an idea of a friend of mine who I'd done business with in the past and had purchased a lot of his return books from his former publishing company. We sat down and had a casual conversation, which turned into a serious conversation, which turned into BroadStreet Publishing.
Mm-hmm. And his name?
Carlton Garborg.
Okay. And he's big in the Christian media industry, is that, or not necessarily?
He started and built successfully a publishing company and sold it to a larger company.
Okay.
And we reconnected through a relationship and started BroadStreet.
Okay. All right. You're already a multi-million-dollar company, that's fair to say, right? From last year's start?
Yes.
I know you want to be a little coy about that, but that's right, isn't it?
Yeah, we're really seeing some impressive growth numbers for sure. Shipping books halfway through the year last year was a big education for me, and to actually see it happen, going out, the books coming in and going out to the Barnes and Nobles and all the the big boxes of the world.
So that's how you sell your books? What's the channel or the channels?
Yeah, most of the channels are your traditional bookstore channels. So Barnes and Noble, Books A Million, your independent bookstores, which we distribute through larger media distributors like Ingram, Baker and Taylor. They're some of the biggest that supply to the smaller stores, so they can affordably order. And then you've got your big box stores. You've got your TJ Maxx's, your Walmart's, your you name it, fill in the category.
Barnes and Noble?
Barnes and Noble, yeah.
And then Amazon too, right?
Yeah, we do a little bit with Amazon.
Okay.
They're a great customer.
Where do the various operations happen? Where are the books manufactured, and what happens here on the edge of Racine?
Yeah, so just to give a kind of a bigger picture, Racine is the headquarters for BroadStreet, okay. Which is basically where all the books are housed. This is where they ultimately come. Our back office services are here, so we handle customer service and accounts payable, accounts receivable, and whatnot. What we have in Minneapolis is what we call a production team. So they're the ones that take the concepts and make them look like this, into a book form. So they work with authors, they work with editors, typesetters, proofreaders, the printers, and they get all the files ready, and they digitally dump them over to the printer. The books are printed in paperback, trade paperback books are printed in the United States. They turnaround time on that is a few weeks.
So this is a trade paperback.
Correct.
For those who don't know the terminology.
Yeah, virtually everything that's paperback is printed in the USA.
Okay.
When we're dealing with gift quality books, what we call gift quality, which would be your hardcover books that have a lot of treatments to them, meaning embossing, debossing, or some of the faux leather products.
Okay.
Those are pretty much all routed through our print broker in Hong Kong. So printed in Asia.
You just couldn't afford to do it in the U.S., right?
At this point, it's not affordable to print anything other than paperback here in the States.
Gotcha. So let's give some examples of some of the books, because your BroadStreet is dealing with some real well-known people, and I'll start with this book. I'll let you start with this book, Middle School Rules. of Brian Urlacher. Tell about this series and how you got a guy like this amazing former Chicago Bear middle linebacker.
Right. Yeah. Sean Jensen is basically the tie-in. He's the author of the series, and he works with various celebrities, sports figures, and so on, heroes. And the idea of the middle school rules is to create real life stories relatable to the teen tween crowd about what these particular superheroes were like when they were younger. So as Brian tells his story, part of his story is actually being sort of a, awkward adolescent, and then he grows into, becoming an athlete and so on, and, goes to college and becomes a, Hall of Fame NFL player. So it's great stories. It helps develop character in kids,
and this will be a series, but this is Brian Urlacher's story. So who's somebody else who's going to be in this series?
The next book that we've just announced, which I can say, we're talking with a lot of athletes and agents, Olympians, NBA stars, you name it. But our next book is going to be with Charles Tillman, who was formerly played with the Bears. Now he's in Carolina, and Charles really excited about the project.
Yeah.
So we'll be telling his story next.
Yeah. Talk about big names. Jim Kelly, former Buffalo Bill quarterback, great. What's the story on Kelly Tough?
Yeah, Kelly Tough has been amazing. It's just been a wonderful story. Basically, the story is telling his journey through battling cancer, through the story of through his wife and his daughter, basically their faith journey.
I see.
Through it, so it's been amazing.
They're the actual authors, but it's about the whole what the family went through. I guess.
Great book, great story.
It's doing really well, isn't it?
It's doing great. We made the New York Times bestseller list in the sports category, which isn't too shabby.
Wow. Yeah. You can point me to different books if you like, but what about this Sherry Rigby Beautifully Flawed book?
Sure. Yeah, Sherry's got a great story. She's an actress. And basically, Beautifully Flawed is just telling her journey through some of the decisions that she made in life, and how dealing with guilt and regrets, and just how the grace of God has really helped her deal with those things and feel whole when sometimes.
I was reading the back of the book, and she's been a model, and now she's an actress. Now she's a speaker, famous speaker, I guess. What's the story on Falling into Heaven?
Yeah, that's a great story. Mickey Robinson was one of the first books that we did, the first biography, I believe, that we did, and great story. Mickey was a crazy guy, skydiver, and one day he went up in the plane, and the engine on the plane stopped, crashed to the ground, burst into flames. And somebody drug him out of the plane, and basically Mickey had this heaven experience where he was in a coma and burns and everything, and the story tells about just what God spoke to him and showed him when he was, years he was in and out of the hospital for this stuff.
Did this book just come out since BroadStreet was formed, or
we rewrote that book?
Oh.
Mickey had formerly done the book, but we added some more content to the book.
Okay.
And then.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I'll just mention it. You have a Duck Dynasty book here.
We do.
Okay, we've mentioned that. We can.
There we go.
We can move on.
Yeah.
Now you're also doing. Oh, I know you. There's one more you want to talk about, and I'm sorry it's not on the table, but the Passion Translation is a big deal for you.
Right here.
Oh, okay.
This is exciting. We signed the licensing agreement with Stairway Ministries and Dr. Brian Simmons, who is doing a Bible translation. And if anyone who knows anything about Bible translation, basically you go back to the original text, the Greek, the Hebrew, and the Aramaic, and you translate them into whatever language you're doing. We're doing English. So there's several Bible translations out there. Brian has a bit of an interesting twist on it, because he is very knowledgeable in Hebrew and Aramaic, which have an influence on.
And you were telling us that kind of gives a different flavor. You get different meaning that you wouldn't have. Okay.
It's passionate. It's a love letter from God,
okay.
And it ought to be passionate. So it's
great.
It's great, and it's exciting.
We're doing really well in the Christian book industry.
Very well. Top selling products on Amazon. People love it.
You're also doing, I want to kind of end with the fact that you're also doing audiobook versions of a lot of these, right? Including the Passion Translation. And tell me where those are,
Yeah.
where those are being recorded.
Correct. I personally oversee the audio production. So what will happen is we'll fly Brian in when he has time, when he's not traveling the world, and he will read and we'll record it with one of our partners, which is Skyfall Media. We record it
In your very building,
in our
just to make
building,
clear,
yeah.
that's happening locally.
We keep them here. So
And you
always
want
have access.
and you want all your authors to read them themselves, right?
Not necessarily.
No?
It depends. Not everyone's a great speaker or
Mhm.
necessarily has a revelation on it. There's another book we did called The Politically Incorrect Jesus, which is fantastic, great title. A gentleman named Joe Battaglia has been in the radio industry for decades, and he's actually recording the book himself
Okay.
out in New York,
Oh, okay.
and he's going to send us the files.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good things happening with BroadStreet Media, so congratulations on all of that. And by the way, I guess some of your books, we should not neglect the fact that some of these are, they're not famous people behind the book,
Correct.
right? It's
They're
kind of
just-
a concept book.
Well, they're inspirational books. Bible
Okay.
Promises for Life goes through topically just Bible promises by subject. So it'll be
Oh.
promises of health, safety,
Ah.
assurance, and
Okay.
so on. And it goes. And these are great things, great products to get out there to just help encourage people for life. And so they can stop into even an airport bookstore and on the rack and pick these up.
You guys have a website for BroadStreet where people can kind of see the whole catalog?
Yeah, BroadStreetPublishing.com.
Yeah. Okay.
It's up to date. So we've
Okay.
got all our books out there, and
All right. Well, Jerry Bloom, congratulations. You're doing good things with this company that just started last year. I'm Michael Burke. Behind the camera is Scott Anderson. We'll see you next time.